Welcome, welcome. I'm Dee, and this is the Unguided Life where I am taking it one day at a time, bring guys along for the journey to hold me accountable as I budget my way through life. We need to check in on our March budget. This is the last week of March, so we need to see exactly how everything panned out before we actually close out the month. Okay, so I did pull out my monthly budget detail worksheet because I have to make sure that I have checked everything off that needs to be paid. But before doing so, let's get us in quote here. And it says, live by your inner knowledge and strength. Yes, live by your inner knowledge and strength. Basically, go with your gut. Basically, that's what it's saying. So let's get into this real quick here. The auto insurance has cleared the account as well as OnStar. Week 4 goes from the 18th of March to the 24th of March. And so these were the goals that we're focused on for the month. So we'll get into that when we break down the budget. So this is the spending record. These are the 4 categories where I find that it's difficult to stay within budget. Okay. And the reason is things happen, prices change. It just causes these little things that happen for these categories, and it literally busts my budget. So that's why I pay attention to these. I give them a particular amount and I say, hey, this is your amount, work with it. So let me choose a color for week 4. Maybe it's a little goldish color to end the month off. So I'm just going to highlight because I do use the highlighting method for transactions. So that is that. So we can put that to the side. And then we're just going to slide this here because I do need the space, and we can move that back. And then we can slide this over. And hopefully we can see all this is together. Maybe I can move that over just a little bit. And hopefully we can see everything in. If not, I'll just keep moving it back and forth. But hopes, let's see. Let's give it a little peeky-loo. Yeah, we still don't have everything in there. That's better. Semi-better. It's always going to be crooked because I can't figure out if it's the camera or if it's me. But we have it there. So we can slide that down a little. And, oh, we need to slide it up. Make sure you can see it. So, as stated, week 4 goes from the 18th to the 24th. We only had $306 remaining, and that $306 was the 2 items that I just spoke about. Let me pull out this big pen to highlight that. So, that's $306. Then for food, me and Papa, we cashed in on our Pi Day coupons. And then I got me one of the s'mores. So I ended up spending $9.04 at Blaze. And then I went to Target. I know I love me some Target. So that's $26.60. All right. And then for gas. So with gas, there was some that was added to because it was coming from a sinking fund. So I'm not going to add it this time. Usually I do it, but I'm not going to do it this time. I'm just going to minus what the first time I went. So I filled up. It was $48.86. So we're going to leave that there and not worry about the second fill up because the second fill up was covered already by the sinking fund. Then for household, I actually had some additional money, so I just added $4.20 to there. And then for personal, again, there was a deposit of $15. but then I did spend $6.41, so that leaves $8.59 here. So let's go ahead and we're going to zero this out. 34.86 minus 26.60, at least $8.26. Let's do $8.26. And then we have $61.50 minus $48.86, and that's $12.64. And then we have the $6.30 plus $4.20, and that's supposed to be $10.50. Yeah, just double check. And then we have the $8.59 in personal, and that $15 came from when I put the deposit down for the event that I went to, and when it was just returned, I just moved it to here. I didn't assign it to anything, and I paid for my meal out of some other expense, some other money that I had extra, so I didn't have to touch it. So, well, I didn't have to touch it, but of course I did because I went to Staples and got my ink pens. So that is the closeout for week 4. This is what we have remaining in that particular account. When we do the closeout, we'll determine what we're going to do with that. So let's go ahead and we're going to move over. So we had some activity going on here. First and foremost, I ended up having to do an Uber, and that was unbudgeted because nothing was wrong with my vehicle. It's just Papa had it, and I had to get from the doctor, and he was at an appointment. He was at an appointment. So this is how much the trip cost, and this was the tip that I left. Now, this is what happened also, Uber Pass, and it keeps happening. I don't know if it's because it's something that I'm doing. I'm not clicking or looking. To be quite honest, when I go into the Uber app, it's just too busy. So it reminds me of when the Amazon Prime first started and they were putting a little small print when you purchase something that will automatically sign you up for Amazon Prime if you didn't go in and check it, because I believe that's what happened with Uber. And this time around, it was like a back and forth with the individuals, which was a back and forth with the individuals the last month it happened too, where I had to just go to PayPal the last time. This time, I went to my bank because it came through Google Pay, and Google Pay is just covering up my bank. So yeah, a little bit different there. But I had to dispute it, and then I decided that I would no longer use Uber as a customer or as a food delivery driver. It's a headache. It's a headache all around. So yes. So I was disputing that. It was unbudgeted. It came from out the account, so I had to account for that. And then, y'all, let me tell y'all what happened. I received a letter from North Carolina Department of Revenue, and it was 2 letters, and I opened up one letter and it said notice of collection, and I'm like, what are they talking about? I haven't filed anything. Well, what happened was there was some misinformation given to me, and I was constantly giving it to y'all, and it was that if I had paid the principal amount of the balances owed for the tax years before my bankruptcy, interest in the actual penalty will be waived. Okay, so let's go back. So what happened was that was not true in the case with me. Now I was a little frustrated because, one, I called in 2019 about this. So I called in 2019 and was asking all of the questions, and they didn't explain to me that I should have paid the full amount for tax year 2016 and 2017. So, and the reason is those taxes was after the bankruptcy, if that makes any sense. So when I didn't file my 2017 until 2018. Well, I didn't file my 2016 until 2018. And so that was, so it was behind. And then my 2017, I didn't do that until 2018. I think I did it at the same time. So anything prior was included in the bankruptcy. Anything after was not. So I had to pay the full amount, including any penalty and taxes. And so yeah, so they came and collected almost a year later their money. Now, one thing they were able to do is waive the penalty for 2017, but they only could do it for 1 year. So 2017 was like 60 something dollars. So they waived the 2017 for me, and then I had to pay $18, which was the interest. And then for 2016, it was the full amount of the $27 for penalty and interest. So they didn't earn too much because I think I like owed 100 and something at that time. So I paid the principal, but I didn't pay the interest and the penalty for that. So that's where we at. So then finally yesterday I called and spoke with my bank, and they gave me a credit, so that brought my balance back up to $10. Womp, womp, womp. So yeah, a lot of activity going on there last minute, but it happened. So for week 4 in my sinking funds, there was no activity, so we can go ahead and zero that out. And then we can go ahead and close this out. So you know what? I'll close this out when I do the budget closeout. So we good with that. Let's move there. I'm fine with that. So I can move that aside, and then we can talk about week 4. I just seen that, and that caught my eye. So let's go ahead and we're going to pull out our highlighters. So we have the first transaction. This was actually a transaction I made for Papa, and that comes out of a sinking fund. So we're going to highlight that. Then I did do another sinking fund transaction, and this particular fund is in my side income account. So that's why I put that there. So I remember that's where I need to pull it from. Then we have the envelope system, which is purple. And that was the staples that we seen. And then the Target as well. And then lastly, we have our bills. So they come out of our expense account. So let's go ahead and highlight those. Oops. Look at that. My bad. And we can put that back. So then we do need some space here so I can see. So week 4 for unbudgeted, we didn't have any unbudgeted. For sinking funds, we had the $99.99, and then we have the $25. So that's $124.99. Then for the envelope system, we have $6.41 and $17.56. So that is $23.97. And then for our bills, we had $13.90 and $15.99. And that was $29.89. So, and we didn't have any fees. So we can slide this over here. And then what we're do is make payments. So first we're going to make, today's date is the 24th. And even though I'm writing for the 24th, it's actually not going to process into tomorrow because it's after 5 p.m. And then we're going to pay the bills first. So those are $29.89. And that comes out of the expense account. And so we put payment here, and of course that doesn't get anything there. And then the next thing that we're going to do is for the envelope system, and that is $3.24, and that's going to be, I'm trying to remember if I moved, but I didn't move. What's going to happen is the sinking funds, the one from Papa, I'm actually going to combine it with the expense account. So you're going to see one amount for that, and then a separate one for the coming out of the me, myself, and I, because it's off of 2 different accounts, and it's just easier to do it that way. But the total I'm going to make of the sinking funds is $124.99, and that is going to come out of the expense account. and I'll put slash here so I know that also it is going to come from out of the side income account. And so that's going to put that there. I know it's confusing to y'all, but it's not confusing to me. And then what do we have lastly is the expenses. So that is the, the envelope system. And that is going to be a total of $23 and, oh no, yeah, $23.97. And that is going to go towards the come from Discover. So that's PMT. Now, let's go ahead and see where we're at, and then I'll discuss something else. So we are at 418.09. Let's minus 29.89, and that gives us $388.20 minus 124.99. So that gives us 263.21 minus 23.97. So that gives us $239.24. Now from here, remember, part of this Target purchase is actually the money that was coming from my sinking funds, because it was an eligible flexible spending account transaction. So I did receive that, so I need to go ahead and make that payment, and that's going to be $39.58. And so that is going to come off the side income account, so I'll know that, and that is a payment, and that is that. So $39.58. So it leaves us with $199.66. So if you seen my budget video, you would have seen that I rounded that up to $200, because I knew that that was coming in, because I did receive the notification that it had processed, but it hadn't hit my account until today. So because of that, I know I'm going to make that payment, and that's what's going to be remaining. All right. We are done. Maybe I should color these green. We are done, and this is just an easy way for me to keep track of my spending. Even though I was a little spending with my everyday credit card, because I don't want to use it every day. But yeah, I'm happy where I'm sitting at with this. So let's go ahead, and we're going to put everything back in order the best that I can. Let's slide this, and we're here, and we're here, and we're done. We're done. Week 4 is out. And I hope everything was in frame. Just realized I didn't check. But y'all, in the meantime, in between time, peace.